So today I've decided to do a recording for my coach as a testimony, as a gratitude note. And as many of you follow me on LinkedIn, you would have seen me share a lot of things and, you know, tell a lot of things about how it has helped me in the last year. But this video is going to be a very candid, straight from my heart to all of you. Before I get to who he is and what he did to me, let me just take you quickly to what I was and who I was before I started my coaching with. And it takes a lot of courage to speak about that, right? Most often we tend to move forward. We remove the versions that we had created for ourselves to survive, and we let it aside and start moving towards what we have become now. But this today deserves for you to know what I was and who I was before you come to know what I am today and because of who I am. So I was a lost cause. In simple, I was a lost cause. That's what I was. Let's not get into how and why I became that or was that, but I can tell you this, that my life all through the journey, the last 53 years, have been a set and series of challenges. Challenges that I did not know how to cope with. Challenges that came at me and I took it in the way I knew I could, right? Being the energetic or optimistic person and going with emotions and feelings and face value of people around. I took everything that came at me and I had a surviving instance, right? So I fought at it. So when you are at war, literally at war, little do you know that there is very, very little of you that is left behind in the survival mode. You must have seen this in so many cases, right? When soldiers go to war and they start fighting, when they are against the enemy, they are brutally attacked, they start fighting. At some point, they forget they're humans. At some point, they forget who they are and they just become that what the circumstances are. They become that. They become the war. They become warrior. That's what I had become. I had lost complete touch with who I am professionally, personally, emotionally, financially, and physically. I had become what the circumstances were. I was someone who would just jump up to issues that would come, immediately go after it and try to resolve it in a manner that I would end up messing it up. And in my head, I was a complete lost cause. And today, as I sit in front of you, I want to tell you this. It's been almost 7, 8 months that I've been coached and mentored by this amazing person, this individual who I feel is blessed with some of the most very important personality traits that enables others well-being. He's able to inspire, he's able to see things that we don't see in ourselves. One of the first things that I realized, and I'm grateful I did, was that I did not have a role model for myself. I did not have a teacher. I did not know how to find myself back. So that's when I asked the universe, right? I didn't know anyone. So I asked the universe and I asked a good friend of mine who connected me to this person. And the intro was absolutely mind blowing. You would actually have a smile on your face when I tell you that the intro was like, be careful when you reach out to him. He's a no nonsense person. You need to be clear with what you want. And frankly, I wasn't clear. Let's be very candid. I wasn't clear, right? I was a big fat mess. in literally manner, right? And I was like fighting and struggling to get my fitness and health. Like I was working out. I had lost a good amount of weight till last year, but I wasn't able to go further. I was literally on this roller coaster ride. I would go down a couple of kilos and go up for, double the weight. Then emotionally, I was surrounded with, what do you say, people, issues, circumstances that were absolutely, burdening me with things that I didn't know how to overcome with. And professionally, I was in a place where I thought I knew I was what I was doing. I believed I could do that, but I wasn't able to evaluate myself. And last but not the least, my mental stability, my emotional intelligence was zilch, absolute zilch, literally nothing, right? So here I'm being asked to meet with the person with clarity, and I have nothing to do with clarity at that point of time. But still, I went ahead, fast forward a few months of conversations and interactions. There we were. I asked him to coach me, and you know what, I would like to say this. I actually told him, "Can you manage this?" Right? I knew I was such a big, full package of all the things. Right? I literally used to call myself alpha female and a landmine. I would blow up on your face. Right? That kind of a personality. And I was like, "Could you manage to coach me?" And he accepted the challenge, right? And in fact, even today, we sometimes have a laugh about it, saying that I was one of the very few who challenged him. But here we are, 6, 7 months down the line with him. And I am so proud of myself. I would say, I'm so proud of myself for the way I have evolved as a person, as a mentor to entrepreneurs, business leaders, as a woman, a middle-aged woman going through her own challenges, which an anatomy brings at this time, which we even cannot avoid. We have to pass through it, right? A woman who is looking at being fit and healthy, a person who's looking at being happy and peaceful. I am so proud of myself to say I am all that, and I'm still in making. And all this credit goes to this coach of mine. So by now, if you've not guessed it, you really have not followed me on LinkedIn, and definitely not on, all the social media, because I've been loud about it. He's Cherian Kurovilla, as CK as we all know him. He comes with vast experience, but the one thing I know that he comes with clarity to bring the best to his coaches. I know he has coached hundreds of top level directors, vice presidents, presidents of MNCs, and a lot, but he has coached me brilliantly. And that, I believe, takes a mammoth of a task, and he's done a brilliant job on it. So there are 2, 3 approaches that he took with me, which really made a big impact. One of it was the 360 degrees, feedback that he takes from people around us, right? When he starts off the coaching, he did that. And for me, that was like, yeah, I come with thousands of connections and so many people love me and they are so awed by me. That was the stage I was in, right? And he said, I need 10 people around you, a mix of personal, professional connect to give me feedback about you directly to me, not to you. And I was like, yeah, 10, what is it? 10 is not even a number for me, right? And I was so confident that I could bring him hundreds of feedback, and I then shoot 10 mails and no response. And then another 10 mails, no response. And by the third round, I knew there's something wrong with what I thought or I believed versus what actually is, right? I think that strategy of his, that approach of his really got me, my attention, right? It really got me there saying something is wrong massively, right? And that approach really kickstarted, but it was just not getting the feedback. The way he collected those feedbacks, which actually came, I'm going to tell you that it actually came after multiple reminders and a month plus follow ups. It did come. And I'm grateful to all those of you who did send the feedback. My loved ones, my connections, my friends, thank you so very much. But then the way he collated that, the way he, got it together, the way he took the key pointers from that, and then the way he put it across to me was a brilliant approach of showing the mirror on my face and saying, are you ready to really look at who you are? And I think that was a brilliant start to my coaching sessions. And for me, it was a very big, you call it a red flag, green flag, blue flag, whatever color, but it was a flag, all right, for me to say, okay, this person has got this right. Now let me go with the flow. The second thing that I really, really loved about his approach is that he did not ever tell me what is right for me, what I want as goals, what my vision should be. Never. It was always me. But his questioning approach, his nudging way of taking us towards a direction that we feel the most comfortable in, like as if it's our skin, as if we were born for, right? So a few series of sessions, I came to realize that all my goals that I thought I would be doing in life were actually not goals driven with my choices, but it was more driven by circumstances around me. To give you a quick example, I thought my end game was to backpack and travel around the world and not come back to the same place. Anyone who knows me from those days would have remembered me telling you this, right? But right now, it's actually when I went through this process, I realized that my end game is here. This, when I look at myself in this recording, looking all fit, perfect, clear, my end game is here, right here. I don't have to go around the world looking for it, right? So that was the brilliant change. And I love this. I love this me who's clear about herself, who's sure of everything. And the third and the most important thing is the way the things got executed. It wasn't a session, speaking, talking, and documented and perfect. Voila, just leave it there and move on, right? The way the sheets, the flow and the process is that you cannot escape it. You cannot run away from what you have promised yourself that you will do. He will bring you around. He will put you on track. And that's what he did. Today, even if I choose to, you know, go out for a party and eat without being mindful about it, I cannot. It's in my system. It's molded within me, right? And even for projects that I take, the clients that I work with, for me, one of my biggest goal was to work with business leaders and entrepreneurs, which excite me, which I believe would go to make an impact through my experiences and journey and lessons, right? So today, even if the most exciting entrepreneur comes and tells his story to me or her story to me and wants me to work with them, there is a part of me which stops and says, hey, give them some good advice, give them some impactful messages and show them a direction, but you can work with them only if you are driven about it, right? If you're in love with what they're doing. So this kind of clarity came in with the way my coach put me through this process, made me realize time and again, and trust me, one day, once my coaching is done, I would literally share with the world my process sheet, right? My session progress sheet that has all its highs and lows. There are days when I would tell him brilliant outcomes from the past 15 days. And then there would be days when I would come and say, everything's gone. I remember once sitting and telling him in a session, saying, I've lost the war with my food. I've lost it. I've lost the control, right? And I've lost it. I've literally said that. And today, here I am. Like he took me through this process. So, yeah. So, these three things, apart from the 10,000 things that happen, the reason I make this video, this testimony on my YouTube channel, though it's very few followers, but I know those followers are people who genuinely think that I give them meaningful messages. And to all the people who will just go through this video through from various platforms they see, it's just a reminder to say that it's never enough for you to become a better version. You might have been, you know, through a journey, you might believe that you've reached to a place of satisfaction when it comes to career goals, for personal goals. You might believe you are in a good place or a bad place or anything in between, but you still need someone to help you look at yourself in a way that's completely authentic, completely you, and you will see a new version of you come. And then there's no stop. So this is my gratitude note. And you know, when I started, I said I'll just do a 5-10 minutes video, but it wouldn't be true justice. So for those of you who sat through this whole video and heard me out, that means you are here to even hear yourself out. Give yourself a chance. And I strongly recommend have a conversation with my coach. So you can search for him on YouTube and on LinkedIn. His name is Cherian Kuruvilla. And I will be tagging him on this video for sure on YouTube. So do check him out, do have a chat with him, but absolutely do invest on yourself. You deserve it. Love you all. Have a lovely day.